I'm like, are Khloe and Caitlyn feuding, and is Kylie and Tyga, are they over for good? Stay tuned because you are watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians here on AfterBuzz TV.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, I love the new beginning.
Me too.
How many episodes has this been for?
Oh man, I just love it.
So, hey guys, you are watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians here on AfterBuzz TV, Season 12, Episode 1. I know the panel looks different because this show has been on for so long. So it's different. I know it's going to be a weird change, but me and Dakota did Cocktails with Khloe. Yeah, we did. So we're really, we know all about the Kardashians. So we're going to give you a good show. So hopefully you guys can welcome us to the new panel.
Yes, but a lot of the old people will be back next week. It's just this week, it's us. And I'm so happy that we're like an addition to this now. It's like so fun. And I love this show. And it's just always so much to talk about.
Yeah, a few of the people are still going to be, they're coming back, but for some reason, like, they couldn't make it today.
Yeah.
But I am Justine, and you can find me on Twitter at Justine DiVanna 3. That's DIVANNA 3. And you can find me on Instagram. I do makeup and beauty tutorials at Let's Face It with Justine.
Yes, and I am Dakota T. Jones. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all that fun stuff at Mr. Dakota T. Jones, and on Snapchat at Crazy Coda.
Oh, I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, my words today, I'm like trying to talk and I'm like, wait, why aren't they coming out? I think I'm just so excited about this show.
Yes.
All right, let's get into it. God, a lot happened in the season premiere.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know.
All right, so the show started off and it was Kim, and she was basically just talking about being a mom and it's hard, and she passed out on the couch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't know because I'm not a mom.
I know.
But
What was it that she was saying that she had to put on herself to like help with like the milk and like feeding her child and everything? She was putting something on herself, and I couldn't quite figure out what it was.
I
but
couldn't
like,
either.
She just seems like being a mom is just like taking a toll on her. Like she's always worn out. And it's so funny because you think of Kim as this person who goes out and she's doing photo shoots, she's doing red carpets, but really she's just so sleepy these days and she just wants to pass out on the couch. And it just really shows how normal of a person she really is.
Yeah, no, I like that. I feel like we saw, a more like a vulnerable side of her. Like they live such a fabulous, crazy life that it's sometimes hard to relate to them, but being able to see them like, okay, she's being a mom, she's tired, like she's not like a superwoman, and it's just nice to see them,
I agree. And I think a lot of people who don't watch this show, they just watch, them on the red carpet, their interviews, their photo shoots, the paparazzi and everything. They think of them as these people who are just unattainable and just like way high up. They think they're all that. But really, if you watch the show, you see how funny and crazy and just spontaneous and weird that they are. And I love that it brings like a more human aspect to it.
Yeah, I'm so excited we're doing this show right now.
I know.
Like I was like, wait, this show, this show is crazy. We have so much more to talk about.
It's so great.
So Khloe and Kris, we're going to get more into this later in the show. They were talking about Lamar's recovery. So, the thing that's kind of hard, though, is when reality shows and social media, maybe in the past, you kind of felt like everything was happening that moment. Mm-hmm. But because of social media, all this stuff you kind of know. You're like, oh, okay, we watched this all on, Instagram and Twitter happen. Yeah. So now it's like you're kind of replaying it.
Yeah, and I've kind of counted before like how long it takes, and usually it's around like three months, sometimes 3.5 months of how long ago they filmed what we're seeing now. So it's kind of crazy because, you're right. We've already seen the pictures on Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And so it's just kind of funny. You're just like, whoa, we know all this. But I love how, sometimes you'll get a teaser like, hey, I'm doing this here. And you're like, oh, I want to know more about that, like what they did that day. And then 3 months later, you kind of get to see it play out and like the details of everything. And it's just so funny because you're right. Social media is just taken over and like everything's now.
Yeah.
So,
now. Social media is definitely taking over.
It's taken over.
With all of these Kardashians. And like I said, his recovery has been so public, even when they say they don't want it to be. Come on, you signed up for it.
Yeah.
It's going to be public.
Right.
And, I always say I would love to see them get back together. Always say that. Do you think they will?
Doesn't look like it anymore. Khloe had posted finally. She's like, you know what? I'm really worn out, and you can't keep fixing something that doesn't want to be fixed, and you can't keep helping someone if they don't want to help themselves first. And so I think she finally has kind of said, you know what? I'm done. But we saw her in a Snapchat like a few days ago where she was kind of with Lamar, and then everyone freaked out, and she posted another Snapchat saying, you know what, guys, exes can be cordial. Like, you can be around each other. Like, you know, times are changing, and you can be cordial. So, I mean, I definitely don't think they're going to be getting back together anytime soon. Khloe seemed very, very like public when she was saying all that, because I guess Lamar the day after Easter was seen at like a bar and like partying again, so he's slipping back into his old ways, and I think that Khloe is just, it's too much for her heart to handle.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of cordial, Kourtney and Scott are like an example of that.
Yeah.
I think that Scott's having a harder time with it, but you know, Scott moves into a new house, and he was basically saying, I mean, I have it here that it's lonely being the one person in a huge house. And I feel like, I always say that, like, if you ever had money, you know, it sounds great, oh, a big mansion, but when it's just you, like, it's lonely, it's depressing, so you just, like, wake up, you're like, oh, what side of the house do I want to go to today?
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
It's really sad. And, you know, he was even saying, you know, a lot of people wish that they had my problems, like, they had all of this, and he's like, but it's difficult, like, even though I have everything in the world, you would think, I have nothing, because I don't have my girlfriend or my kids with me at all times. You know, he's trying to get back into that, but he's struggling, and he's having a hard time trying to figure out how to live his sober life while incorporating his family. And so, I mean, yeah, I mean, it would be really hard to have a huge house to yourself. I mean, I hate being lonely for, like, you know, like a couple hours, so I can only imagine, like, you know, it's crazy. But,
yeah, I mean, it is crazy, and I think the thing that my mom always told me, money doesn't buy happiness. And you're just kind of like, yeah. But as you get older, you realize that. And I always say money, you know, it's an addition. But, like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, money doesn't buy happiness, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need money. Like, no, come on. I would love to be rich like them. But, you know, it doesn't buy happiness.
You know, Scott posted a photo of, like, a bunch of his cars together, and he says, money doesn't buy happiness. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it sure does put a smile on your face.
Exactly.
And I'm like, that's hilarious. But speaking of all the houses and everything like that, I mean, we saw, you know, Lamar's getting his house, and really Khloe and Kris are the ones kind of decorating, picking everything out, you know, through that company that they're working with.
Kourtney, right?
Actually, it looked like it was Khloe and Kris that was doing that. The one for Lamar. But the one,
I got confused. There's so many houses
I know, all
going
these houses,
on.
There's like 3 in this episode that we've seen, houses coming together.
Yeah, there's a lot.
We've seen Rob, we've seen, you know, Lamar's, and then Scott. So it's like all the guys are like moving out, you know, like into their own houses.
They're like, okay,
doing their own thing. It's crazy, but yeah. So basically we see that, and you know, obviously Khloe and Kris are so great at decorating. We've seen all their houses before, so it's really cool that they're, you know, stepping forward and helping Lamar out and getting everything together. And we kind of see Kris get a little bit emotional when she's like, he's here, you know, like he's okay. He made it out of the clear for the most part, you know, with all the health problems he was having, you know, once, you know, all of his organs pretty much were trying to shut down. So it's just refreshing that at least he's okay, you know, he's moving on, but, you know, I pray that hopefully he gets the help he needs and, you know, doesn't fall back into his old ways.
Yeah, and I mean, falling back into his old ways, that's also Scott. Like, it's crazy. Like, in different ways, they both are trying to get back to the way they are. And I feel like Scott, I mean, I think since episode 1, or since season 1, he's really struggled. And Justin, do you think he's doing better? And the thing I think about him is that he's, you know, he doesn't mean harm. Like, I don't think that he's doing it on purpose. Like, he really has a problem. And I think it's funny when Khloe was there, she brought up, like, oh, yeah, this would be great when you have a girlfriend because the house is so big. And he goes, I wrote it down, he said, ew, like, I'm not even thinking about that. Like, I think he still has hope for Kourtney.
He does, and you see him get kind of offended whenever Khloe says girlfriend. He's like, who are you talking about?
Like, who else? Like, what other girlfriend?
Yeah, it has to be Kourtney, and it's funny. Like, I do feel bad for him, but you know what? He kind of, like, made his own bed, so he's trying to lay in it, pretty much, you know, figure out what he's going to do. And then I think it's so obvious that he's trying to kiss her butt in a way because you see everything he's doing to try to impress Kourtney. Like the cooking class, you know, that they're taking, you know, Kris and Scott are taking this cooking class, trying to do healthy lifestyle choices, you know, with eating, so that way Kourtney will let the kids come over more and, like, want to have meals together. So, I mean, you can see Scott trying, and I think that we've definitely seen him try more now than he ever has because, you know, he always slips back into it. Just when you think he's all right, you know, we see pictures of him, like, slowing across the internet, him, like, on, you know, drinking binges at the club, so. Yeah,
but I mean, him moving out, it's, like, kind of final, like, oh, shit, like, she's not taking me back. She gave up taking me back. I mean, you know, what do you guys think? Get in on the comments because Scott is a very controversial. Am I saying it right?
Yeah,
controversial. Like, it sounded weird. He's a controversial character, like person, as you want to say, and it's been like that since day one. And the thing is, I think he is so hot. Like, I don't know why. I love his personality. He's so funny. I loved him since that one season when he was like, he like loved this cane.
Oh my gosh.
And he became a lord and he was like ordering something and he's like, I want this.
I know.
And like, I've loved him because that's kind of the sense of humor I have. So I've loved him since then. I've always like, I know he's a jerk, but like, I just have hope. Like, I keep having hope. What do you like? Do you like him?
You know, I do like him, and I've watched the after show here for you know, for the past seasons on some of the episodes, and I see that a lot of the panel who's usually here, you know, they want to believe in Scott, but I've noticed that in there they were kind of saying they were done with him. I think the lead host was saying, you know, I'm done with him. We've given him so many chances, and he keeps screwing up. So I'm starting to get more like faith in him now. You know, we see him making these changes now instead of just saying it and then going on a drinking binge. We've kind of seen him start, you know, like putting the money where his mouth is, kind of a thing. But
well, we're excited to have
Yeah.
them back when our other panel wants to come in.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, this family is like, I've never seen a family of this much drama.
Like, it doesn't matter what happens. Like, you know, we see also, like, there's just another thing with Khloe. You know, Khloe goes to Scott's house, and she's telling him about how, you know, Blac Chyna, like, she walked in on Blac Chyna at her own house.
So weird.
And, you know, there's alcohol everywhere, and she's like, you know, this is my house. Like, don't make me uncomfortable in my own house. So I think that's a big reason why Rob moved out.
I think she's the most giving and caring out of all of them because I mean, if you remember, she had, I don't remember what season it was, but she had Rob stay with her like a lot. Like, it was like Lamar and Rob, and I loved that bromance. Like, it was amazing. And she's just like, she's always helping. Like, she's like the mom. And I mean, I don't know, she's always been one of my favorites. She just, I mean, you never know in real life. That's the thing. You got to be realistic with these shows, is like, you really don't know what they're like, but I like to think she's the most real.
Khloe?
Now, yeah, Dakota has met like a bunch of them.
Yeah, I've met almost all of them.
Tell us your experiences.
Okay, so with Khloe, I've met her a few times, and she's always so sweet. Like, she acts like she remembers me at least. And
really?
Like, she'll, you know, I talked to her the first time, and she like asked me about my acting career and what I've done, and you know.
And where was this?
This was at Ulta in, I don't know, it was like 30 or 45-minute drive, but I was at Ulta Beauty, and she was there and doing like a meet and greet, and I was like, I've got to meet Khloe. So I go, and she's so sweet. She took like, you know, usually meet and greets, you know, you have 2 seconds and you go.
The only straight guy willingly going to Ulta.
Yeah.
Let me just add.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I was like, you know, you had to buy something, so I bought like some hairspray because, you know, guys use hairspray. So I go in there, and she was so nice. We talked for a few minutes, and she like, you know, wrote me something like Dakota XO on like a headshot of her, and so I met her.
How long was the line?
Oh my gosh, it was very long. It was very long, like probably a couple hundred people. But
oh my god,
Kim's meet and greets are a little bit different. She has like, you know, 2 or 3 seconds a person because there's like 1,000 people there. It was crazy. So I met her twice. And then Kendall, I ran into the other day at the MTV Movie Awards red carpet, and I just had like a split second with her where I said hi. And then I met Kylie, and the only ones I have not met are Kris Jenner and Kourtney and Scott.
Hi. What do they look like in real life?
They look just as gorgeous. And Khloe is like a beaming light of, like a ray of sunshine.
They say that like the camera adds 10, said that weird, adds 10 pounds. I don't know if that's still true. Like, do they look, honestly, like, what do they look like in real life? I always
honestly
wondered.
Look younger in person because on you know, like the HD cameras that are going on with when they're filming, it gets every little wrinkle or every little imperfection, you know, we see on the TV. So like in person though, you can just see like, you know, all the colors blend more, and it's just like.
Are they like thinner or no? They look kind of the same.
I think Khloe looked thinner in real life.
Yeah.
And then obviously now on the show, she's lost even more weight. She looks stick thin, not stick thin, but she looks beautiful. And like, I thought she was beautiful before, but you can just really tell she has taken her health to a new level, and not just like on the outside appearance, but like inside too. Like she's really grown a lot more healthy and like making better choices with her life, and you can just tell.
Makes me mad when people like, you know, especially she works so hard and people still call her like the fat sister, and it's like, she's not. Have you seen her stomach? Like, you know what it is when they say like bigger bones, I mean, she is, but that doesn't make you fat. That just means you're literally built differently, and it's annoying. I mean, I understand like growing up that was probably hard. She was like, she was like the bigger sister because she used to be. But you know, she's always been my favorite.
Yeah. Same here. And, you know, it's funny because Kim was sending her all these pictures of her on past episodes. Like, you know, like we see today, all these pictures of her, you know, like before she lost the weight. And Khloe was like, why are you sending me all these pictures of my old self? But she's like, just to show you how great you're doing. You know, you've lost all this weight and you've just made, like, for me, Khloe is like the ultimate vision of fitness because she's really worked hard.
And oh, no, keep saying.
I just, like, if you buy her book, Strong Looks Better Naked, like, she really.
You bought it?
Yeah. And I've read most of it, and so far I really love it. And I feel like everything that she says in there, and if you look on her app, on her like CloFit portions, you know, where she like films videos of her working out, you can tell she takes it seriously. And like every day to wake up at like 4:30 or 5 a.m. to go do this every single day, that's dedication. And anyone who says it's just surgery or this or that, it's not. Like,
I mean, you know what I love about her is like, she hasn't fallen into like that stick thin, like scary look. Like people are like when they get thinner and it's like noticeable. Like she never fell into that.
Yeah.
Personal opinion, get on this, guys. I think she's gotten butt injections. Like this is what I think. I don't think she's fake in the sense of like surgery. It's known. People get, you just take a little fat injection. Like she probably works out like 100%, but she probably gets like a little. Making it that ass. I never used to look like that.
See, I don't know. That's the thing is, Khloe has said before though. She said that if you have had something done, she said come forth with it. Like be honest about it. She told Kylie to come forth with her lip injections.
Yeah.
So I feel like for Khloe always saying stuff like that, I feel like she would have to come out and say, you know what, look guys, I had a little bit of work done.
But have you seen that ass? It is huge. And like all of them, like Kim, Kylie. You know what I think? It's so like. Why do people care? Like, oh, she's fake. Oh, she's this. Oh, she's that. And even though I think her ass is probably fake, this and that, I'm not gonna let it affect my life. Like these people commenting, like, you got this, you that, on like Instagram, I'm like, why does it matter? Like, why do you care? Like, it's not you getting a fake ass, so like, why do you care?
See, that's the only reason I think that like that she hasn't had anything done is because like all of them before have always been like, yeah, I've had Botox, yeah, I did this, yeah, I had lip injections, I had like, you know, like you see them all the time go in there and like get their lipo or their stretch marks like lasered off and stuff. So I feel like that they're so verbal about that kind of thing. Like I feel like that Khloe of all of them would be honest about it.
It would be nice to have money, right?
Yeah.
I'd be like, do this, do that, do this. It's probably like nothing. I heard they have some machine in their house that like does that. I don't know. Yeah, some like I don't know. I don't know. But
what did you think though? Like moving on from that, like with Kourtney, like we see such a different side of her. You know, now that she's single again, and you know she's in that like gold, I think lame gold suit or whatever, and she's on Ellen. You know, all nervous. Like, should I dance when I go out there or should I not?
You'd think after all these interviews she does, you would be like, she wouldn't care, and it shows. Like you could be the one of the most famous people in the world, and you still get nervous. I think she was nervous because like you're expected to dance, and she's like awkward in that sense. So like Kylie's like, I don't dance, I just walk, and she's probably like I would totally be like,
I'd be like shaking my
yeah, but she's just like, I didn't see. I think I saw that episode, but I forget what she did when she came back.
She just kind of like, I don't know. She was super cute, but
I just love it. Don't they all? They all have the same tone voice. Like,
you know, yeah.
All of them. I'm like, how is that real?
You know, I this was a little early news and gossip, but I read an article on 17, and they said that girls are starting to make their voices now look like or sound like the Kardashians. That girls are starting to like mimic that and try to like to do that. So
you know what? I give them such props. People, oh, you can hate them, they can suck. My mom's like, I would never want to be a Kardashian. Okay, hold on. They're setting trends. They have set the way girls want to look, do their makeup, have their body. And it's hard. It's a little hard for me too because it's, this isn't like feel sorry for me. It's not. It's just I do makeup, so it's like everyone, people want to look like Kim, not like me, and like the thick brows and the tan skin, and it's one of those things. It's hard these days. That's why like anybody that feels like inferior to them because they're like literally setting trends and taking over. It's like, it sounds so cliche, but you gotta accept yourself or you're just gonna be really miserable.
Yeah.
I was feeling miserable for a long time, and I'm like, I'm never gonna be them, so you're never gonna be anyone else. Sorry, I'm done with that.
You know what I love though is like Kendall is the one who seems the most like maybe down to earth or just like normal.
Yeah.
And I love that she takes like, cause you know, a lot of girls are naturally skinny as well. Like I'm naturally skinny, and like I can't hardly gain 5 pounds if I wanted to. Like I just eat a bunch and I have a fast metabolism, and I love how like Kendall's just so thin, and she doesn't feel like she has to get any surgeries or any like breast enlargements or anything like that. Like I love how she is so confident in her own skin as like a very skinny woman, and I love that about her. And she rocks it, and she's like one of the most beautiful supermodels I think I've ever seen in my entire life, just because she can take it and be a confident person while having a natural look. And I love that about her. Realistically,
like she's definitely the most. No, she's not the most real out of all of them. It's funny because the Kardashians are known for their curves, and she's completely opposite, and she's okay with that. And I think, the Kardashians have put that. I don't know. Like my friend made a status today, and it's like, everyone's gotta love their self, love their bodies, curvy, skinny. But then when it comes down to it, people hate on each other, and it's like I almost feel like I think Nicki Minaj in her song Anaconda, she made fun of skinny girls. It's like, wait, like we can't help it. Like I get curvies in, but like, what if you literally cannot look like that?
Yeah, for real.
And a lot of people say like, oh, curvies in, it was always skinny. But I just think everyone should. I mean, I wish I had that
natural
body.
Bodies, like
girls who's watching this, I freaking wish. But whatever, it's all right. Let's move on from that.
Yeah. Let's
move on to. What was I want to talk about? It was Scott and Kris. Okay, yeah, Scott and Kris go to lunch, and then I love this. They took a cooking class. I love how close they are. Like even though they broke, like Kourtney and him broke up, like I love that they're still close.
Yeah, I mean Scott obviously feels a lot of support from Kris. And it's very, important for him to have someone in his life that tries to keep him grounded and is always around to make sure that if he needs anything, she's right there. And I think Kris is a loving and forgiving person. She's been put through a lot. So I love how she helps him. And I love that he has her because, I mean, imagine where he would be without her. I mean, he's lost both of his parents and everything. And she's like a mother figure to him. And I love that she's kind of stepped up and done that. And I think it's great.
I know that Scott gets a lot of backlash, but like, honestly, this is gonna sound crazy. Like, I think he's doing pretty good for losing 2 parents. Like, I've never had a dad in my life. I'm like, let's get deep.
Let's get real.
I mean, I've just like grew up with like a single mom, and my grandma was pretty much my dad. But I lost my grandma like a year ago, and it's like I can't imagine losing like her and my mom at the same time. Like, I can't even think about it. I could cry on hand.
Yeah.
Like, literally. He's doing pretty good. Like
he's doing very
I know
well.
that people probably won't agree, but. I don't know, like, I would be like, I wouldn't be getting out of bed, and especially because, like, okay, him and Kourtney broke up, and that's his family, that's it.
Yeah.
It's like, damn.
I think that's what, I think it really shook him to the core, and he's like, you know what, I need to get it together, because I don't want to lose the other family that I have, otherwise I will maybe not have anyone. So he's probably, like, taking it more seriously, like, crap, like, I need to figure this out, and otherwise I'm going to lose everybody.
Yeah, and losing everybody, he has, he talked about having high hopes for him and Kourtney. I think he's definitely, like he said with Khloe when she was at his house, like, oh, I'm not thinking of anyone else. I think he literally said, like, one day, hopefully one day. And I just love that he's trying to be a better dad and going to cooking class.
I know. It's so cute.
It was so cute. I loved it. I don't know. I think, Kourtney's even mentioned, right now is not okay. I think she is, like, in her head, like...
I think so, realistically.
I don't think she's written it off. She's like... not now. And
but she acts like when she says not now, it acts like she's thinking like a few years, later. And I think that's what she needs is she needs a few years for him to figure things out, because every time that they break up for like a couple weeks or a month, they get back together and nothing changes. So I think Scott is finally taking it more seriously, because literally she's like separated herself from him and is like, look, I mean it this time. Get it together. And so, I mean, we see the same thing with Khloe. Obviously she goes on like this press tour, and she's ready to promote her. I think at the time she was either promoting her book or Cocktails with Khloe when it was about to air. And she was so excited, and, it ended up everything being about her relationship with Lamar. She was trying to like have this good press tour, and everyone was wanting to talk about, oh, how's Lamar? Are you guys together? Is he doing well, or is he going to go back to the hospital? And it's just so sad that, sometimes things get so focused on a relationship, and some of their like work experiences don't even get talked about because everyone wants to know about the relationship.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Speaking of relationship, I had no idea that Khloe and Caitlyn's relationship was non-existent. Like, I didn't know that. She basically said that they don't have a relationship, and she was just going in, and she said that she was getting aggressive texts from Caitlyn, and they both literally, in quotes, like, said, "Shut up, get a life." And I mean, what did you think about that? I was really
surprised.
shocked.
Yeah, I mean, we see things, like on Cocktails with Khloe, when we were hosting that after show, we saw on the episodes, Khloe was very open about talking about Caitlyn and stuff, and that was recent, like Cocktails with Khloe was filmed maybe a week or two in advance of the taping, or of the air date, and this show was like 3.5 months earlier, so this must have been, before all that, so they must be okay now or civil, but like Khloe's had the most rough time with Caitlyn because their heads are butting, and it's one of those things where Khloe is standing up for her entire family, and Caitlyn sometimes just thinks about herself, it seems.
Yeah, and I think, like we said, there's so many things that go on that is public with them, but unless the camera, like, we're not gonna really know that happened unless she posts it like publicly.
Right, and it's not the first time that Khloe has said something like, "I'm done with her, I'm done with Caitlyn." But it definitely seems like their relationship is the most strained out of everyone's.
Yeah, and it's crazy because Khloe, like, is like a mom. She cares about everyone.
Yeah.
But, Kris and Caitlyn were on the phone talking, and basically, like, she started crying. She's like, "You were her father since you were 5," and he was so mad that Khloe talked about him, and, like, it wasn't even bad. Like, Kris brought up, like, okay, the Vanity Fair was 10 times worse.
Yeah.
Like...
Caitlyn, like, ripped Kris a new one, like, with that whole thing.
I just feel... I'm not a Kris fan, and I feel sorry for her. Like, can you... I understand Caitlyn needs to be her, and she came out, but that doesn't mean it's not hard for someone you're married to for 20 years? Like,
20-something, yeah.
Can you imagine I would feel like it was all fake. I would feel, I don't know, that's why she gets emotional with it. It's really hard.
And I do feel bad for Kris, and I understand with Caitlyn's perspective as well, like, she's going through a lot of stuff right now, and she's figuring out herself, but, like, Kris is crying, and she's like, "All right, well, I'll figure it out, blah, blah, blah." And then Caitlyn's like, "All right, bye." Like, I was just like, come on, Caitlyn, have a little bit more sympathy. Like, Kris is over here, like, bawling her eyes out alone at the house, and you're ready to get off the phone. And it's sad. You want them to work it out. And, on I Am Kate, recently we see that, Kris and Caitlyn's relationship has started to grow again.
Yeah.
And, like, the past 3 episodes of that show, they've been hanging out and, like, getting along and talking about some of the important stuff that they haven't talked about in the past.
Yeah.
Getting it out on the table, and so that they can move forward with their relationship. So I did like to see that, because it made me feel like at least they can be starting to be civil again.
Yeah.
That's great.
100%. And I mean, getting into another topic that's weird, like, it was just really weird. Rob, basically, Kendall calls Rob because she found out. How did she find out again that
I guess Blac Chyna posted a photo on Instagram or Twitter of her with her new iPad. And, it was like an iPad and a pen and a keyboard.
God, Kendall.
And
God, buy me again.
Yeah, and so I guess, they saw that he'd posted, or that Chyna had posted that, and Kendall was like, "Oh my gosh, I gave them that. Like, he freaking regifted my gift."
That's so freaking mean.
I know. And so, like, she calls him up and, like, confronts him, and he acts like he doesn't, he's like, "Well, why can't you just buy another one? Buy it yourself." And it's so sad. It's like, if someone gives me something, I never regift it, because I would just feel guilty. I would feel so guilty.
He goes, buy it yourself, you moron. Like, wait, why are you mad at Kendall for calling you out when you're the one that did that?
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, we see all this stuff playing out right now with Rob and with Blac Chyna, and just the whole thing is just so crazy to me, because, obviously, Blac Chyna is Tyga's baby mama.
That hurts my head.
And
I actually have a
Kylie-
headache thinking about it.
And Kylie is obviously, siblings with Rob. So the whole thing is just like they're with each other's other people. It's just
So
it's different.
weird.
It's different.
They're really strange. I never would expect them as a couple. Not for any specific reason, just other than, I don't know, their personality.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's happy, he's happy. Like, some people, like, hate on her. They're like, really, her? And I'm like, why do you care? You're not dating her.
Yeah. And you know what I love is I did see, on more of a positive note, Blac Chyna, I've seen, like, on Snapchat with her and Rob, And every day she's been posting videos with him, like he's on the treadmill. She's like, all right, what's your goal weight? What do you weigh now? What do you want to weigh? What is your goal? And
She's supportive.
Yeah, she's supportive, and she's there. And, you know, she films him after the workout, and he's all sweaty, and he's like, all right, we did it. And you've seen, I don't know if you've seen recently, but he has lost a lot of weight. Like, they've came out on the news, I don't remember if it's like 65 pounds or something crazy like that. He's lost a lot of weight. And obviously he still has a ways to go, but just seeing that, you know, after all these years of him having all these hard times and not getting anywhere, he's starting to, like, something in him has been unlocked through Blac Chyna, and she's helping him get to where he needs to be.
How many years would you say that he has been, like, struggling with weight? Because when he first started, he was little. How long is it? Because it feels like forever. Like, how many years has he been struggling? Like, he hasn't been on the show.
Yeah, I feel like he's been struggling a lot the past maybe 4 or 5 years. If not longer, but I feel like it's been 4 or 5 years. And, you know, I've always, like, wanted him to get better, and I feel like, you know, as messed up as a lot of people think that his relationship is with Blac Chyna, I feel like he is at least starting to get out of that depression that he was in, and he's smiling and he's laughing in all these funny videos. So, you know, obviously a lot of drama is happening, but you know, they seem to be happy together, and it works. So, I mean, who are we to judge someone else's relationship whenever it seems like they're, you know, helping each other be a better person? So,
speaking of relationships, let's talk about my favorite part of the entire freaking show. Okay, this was the funniest thing. So Kris was having dinner with pretty much all of her kids, and they were just basically ripping her a new one because they think she's babying Rob.
Yeah.
My favorite, it was so hilarious. She basically, like, Kim was like, really, don't baby him, whatever, and she's like, in quotes, oh, I was married for 72 days. That's normal. That was so funny. I was like,
call her out, because, you know, everyone
she didn't say anything.
I know everyone was.
Kim didn't say anything.
Everyone was upset because, you know, obviously, you know, Kris doesn't agree with whatever's happening with Rob and Blac Chyna, but she is putting a down payment on Rob's house. That's how all this started. So everyone was like, are you kidding me? Why are you supporting this? You know, whatever. And she's like, excuse me, I had to deal with your marriage that lasted 72 days. I had to deal with, you know, Caitlyn and all this kind of stuff, and everything I've just meant to, like, oh, I have to pretend like everything's right and everything's normal and fine. She's like, I'm doing the same thing for Rob. And I think that a lot of them forget that. And I think a lot of them, you know, treat Rob differently. But, you know, Kris has to put up with everyone's crap. So, of course, she's going to put up with Rob's crap, especially since he's starting to act like he's, you know, in a happier spot. So that whole thing was great. And Kim's face was priceless. She was so, like, embarrassed. And you saw
she didn't say anything.
Her best friend Larsa was there, and Larsa was like, oh, my gosh.
Larsa, who, like, looks like Kim.
Larsa's gorgeous, though. I love her.
Rob didn't show up for the family dinner, and... yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But getting into, like, kind of, you know, one of the last things that happened, they were just talking about that Tyga and Scott have been hanging out a lot, and they make it seem like Rob is, or not Rob,
Tyga.
Scott is just going downhill from Tyga. So, I mean, it's kind of the last thing that happened.
I mean, you think that, you know, everyone in that family seems so involved with each other's life. So, of course, like, you know, the people who are, you know, the boyfriends, they're going to want to hang out and stuff. But, you know, I feel like Tyga needs to realize Scott is trying to get into a sober spot. And so maybe hanging out with someone who's partying all the time and drinking is not the best idea. And I think, you know, we see Courtney. Courtney was like, I wanted to call Tyga and, like, rip him a new one and tell him that it's not okay. And, you know, Kylie, you know, she said she's stuck between a rock and a hard place because it's like, oh my gosh, like, you know, Tyga's my boyfriend. I don't want to, like, upset him. But, like, we see in a teaser, Courtney says she's, like, wanting to call Tyga and, like, you know, sit down with him and, like, tell him, you know, you can't hang around with Scott. He needs to get better.
Yeah.
The whole thing is crazy.
I hope that. I think we're going to see a lot of that throughout the season.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we're going to do, like, on Cocktails with Khloe, we did a news and gossip because the Kardashian, there's literally always news and gossip.
Yes.
So we're going to kind of incorporate that. I don't know if the old cast, what? God, what is my words today? If the other panel did that, but let us know if you like this and you want us to start doing this and see it, because we got some juicy gossip. So let's get into news and gossip.
Yes.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, so we have a couple of pictures. We have Kylie and Blac Chyna in pictures, and Rob said something like, oh, I'm so happy my girls worked it out. And then on Snapchat, I can't read what that says.
Kylie says, when we've been best friends the whole time.
Which is weird because I don't think they were, but whatever. It's just funny. They're basically like, screw everyone saying we hate each other, we're friends.
And they were even doing a face swap on Snapchat, which I love the face swap thing. I think it's
so
hilarious.
funny.
So seeing Blac Chyna's face with Kylie's flipped is just hilarious.
They don't look that scary.
They don't. They honestly look
Kind of the same.
Kind of the same a little bit.
Kylie looks literally like Blac Chyna on Kylie's face. That's really weird.
But yeah, they hung out, which I thought was weird. But you know, the whole family seems like they're just a big melting pot of everyone else's past relationships.
I don't freaking know. They just like to prove everyone wrong, pretty much.
I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's kind of neat that they're being cordial at least now, and I think it's important for Rob. You know, he wants his sister and his family to be cordial with each other. So I give them props for that.
Again, people hating on them, like, why? And I'm like, wait, who cares? It's not you.
Yes.
Let's get into something lighter.
Yes, so basically, we also have Kylie's new lip kit shades. These are her metal shades, and these are the 3 new colors, and she says she's going to be coming out with more. And basically, she's just adding more and more to her, like, empire of makeup. She changed the Kylie Lip Kit Instagram page to Kylie Cosmetics, and now she is incorporating lip gloss, you know, now instead of just the lip kits. So I think she's starting to move on from the lips, but she's still, you know, making money with the lips while she can, because that's what's hot right now with her. So she's doing that. But after that, she's talking about maybe eyelash extensions, like different things like foundation and, you know, all that kind of cool stuff.
I mean, as a makeup artist, she's like, I love looking at her beauty page. That's why I love the Kardashians, like looking at their makeup and stuff. But I think it's really funny because I freelanced for MAC for years, and they have like a metallic like lipstick kind of. There's a couple of them. They never sell, and now I feel like people are gonna come in and be like, actually, like which metallic looks like Kylie?
Yeah,
which is so funny.
It's so true. I love it though. But yeah, I love the shades and everything. It looks great. But the last thing that I have here is Kendall was looking beautiful at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And I think this is hilarious. She met Obama backstage, and then whenever she was in the audience, he said, I met Kendall Jenner, and she was a very nice lady, but...
You sound like him!
I know. She's like, she was a very nice lady, but I don't really know what she does, but I've been told that my Twitter mentions are on fire right now. And so he kind of like did a little dig at her, which I thought was kind of funny. But
so
like,
he doesn't know her?
I mean, he knows her. I think he was joking, but like the fact that he was kind of playing into the whole like, what do the Kardashians even do type of thing. I was like, come on, Obama. But you know, a lot of people had a good laugh about it, and Kris actually posted the video saying that he was just kidding, and she thought she thought it was funny. But yeah, Kendall always looks great on the red carpet, very natural. You know, she's got like the pearls and the black dress, and I just love her, and I think she's really taking over the world as the supermodel she is.
You know,
great.
people give her a lot. They compare her and Kylie, and they're so different.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate when people do that.
I never compare them anymore because they literally are. They're so different from each other. But
So do you want to do a little quick prediction?
Yes.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
What do you think?
I think just from the teasers that we saw, we're definitely going to see Kourtney sit down with Tyga and have a conversation about what she thinks is appropriate and not between Tyga and Scott. Because she wants Scott to have like, you know, a healthy relationship with the kids and everything, and wants him to move forward and not get sucked back into his alcoholic ways and his, you know, he was a drug addict for a long time as well. So I hope that Kourtney does sit down with him and have like a heart-to-heart. What about you?
Speaking of relationships, I think that we're going to see a lot more of Khloe and Lamar. And
you think so?
I don't think anybody's going to get back together, but I think they're going to try to work to build their relationships. And,
Do you think that we're going to see, like, Blac Chyna come on the show at all? Or do you think that we're not going to see her, but we're just going to hear about her?
I think we're just going to hear about her. And if she is, maybe, like, an episode or 2.
I feel like the Kardashians wouldn't want her to have FaceTime on their show. But
they're going to be like, I'm the Kardashian. We don't need this. Like, don't take our, like, spotlight.
And if, you know, if Rob and Chyna are going to get married, think about it. She's going to be Blac Kardashian.
Wait, it's so true. Oh, yeah, you're gonna get hate for that.
Well, no, like, because her name is Blac Chyna. No, not at all.
I'm kidding.
I know, but like, her name is gonna be Blac Kardashian, and I think the Kardashians.
Oh wait! Oh my God, that's literally
Yeah, I'm not saying anything race involved. That's her
kidding.
name. So like, that's crazy. Like to think
That's
about
so cool.
that. You know, it's kind of cool. Like that's gonna be her name, but you know, a lot of them were upset that she's gonna have the Kardashian name.
She has the body like a Kardashian. Let her be a Kardashian.
Yeah.
I like that, Blac Kardashian. Like that.
Yeah, it is. Sounds
I like
cool.
it.
I'm sure she wouldn't change it from Chyna just because that's her signature name.
Blac Chyna Kardashian.
Yeah. I think it's a cool. It sounds cool. I like Kim Kardashian West. I love how she, writes that whenever it's her signature. It's a long signature. Yeah. Very long. But
thank you guys so much for watching. I know that you're so used to the panel. This show has been on for years and years and years. But I hope that you liked us and welcome us to the panel. Next week, we're going to definitely have back a couple of the other... why do I keep calling us cast?
I know.
A couple of the other panel, and... Yeah, I'm so excited to be on this. Like I said, I hope you guys like it. And you can find me on Twitter at Justine DiVanna 3. Tweet us your thoughts. Leave comments in the section below. You can find me. I do like beauty videos. It's Let's Face It with Justine on that. And you can also find me Let's Face It with Justine on Instagram. Like I said, beauty, fashion, people watching this, you're probably into that. Definitely check out my page.
Yes, and you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T. Jones. I'm all over California doing fun stuff. Sometimes meeting the Kardashians, so definitely I will post some of the photos tonight of my meet and greets with them. So love you guys so much. Thanks for joining us. And you can also find me on Snapchat at CrazyCoda.
Love it. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week for episode 2, season 12.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.